Do you know what it really means to be left completely alone at the most critical moments of your life? Not physical solitude, not an empty room, but that brutal kind of loneliness where you're surrounded by people and still nobody understands what you're living through. You ask for help. You try to explain. You even scream inside your own chest. Yet your words fall to the floor like they never existed. That kind of solitude doesn't just hurt. It breaks reality. Now listen carefully, because I'm about to reframe everything you thought that loneliness meant. It wasn't abandonment. It wasn't God turning away. It wasn't life forgetting you. It was the final exam. And exactly 7 days ago, without you realizing it, without ceremony, without witnesses, you passed. You passed so completely that the unseen world had to respond, not with symbolism, with action, because the level of spiritual maturity you demonstrated has no precedent in your personal timeline, and tonight, precisely at 3:33 in the morning, something is scheduled to happen that only occurs when a soul completes its initiation. Heaven is going to crown you, not as a pretty metaphor, not as a motivational phrase, but as a real shift of authority in dimensions most people will never sense. You are being officially recognized as someone who has completed a transformation and can now operate at a power level that would have destroyed you before. Subscribe to this channel right now and activate all notifications, because once you understand why you survived an exam that shattered millions, once you understand why 333 is not a coincidence but an appointment programmed before you were born, once you understand what changes after heaven crowns you, you'll finally see why you had to go through that specific hell nobody else could see. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what you did 7 days ago that activated the graduation protocol, why 3:33 tonight is divine timing, and what 3 specific signs you'll experience within the next 24 hours that confirm your coronation has been executed successfully. If you feel something invisible changed in you recently and you can't explain it, that's not imagination, that's evidence. But before we go to 3:33, you need to understand what you passed. Because it wasn't a normal test. It was designed to measure something that 98% of humanity never develops: unshakable character. Not surface morality, not performance, not the version of you that behaves when someone is watching. I'm talking about what you are when you're empty, when you're exhausted, when you don't have energy to think or pretend. That's when the universe knows who you really are. Real spiritual evaluation has levels. Level 1 is obedience. They evaluate whether you can follow rules when authority is present. That's the child behaving because a parent is watching. Many religious people stay here their entire lives doing what's right because they fear punishment or crave reward. Level 2 is conviction. They evaluate whether you can maintain principles under social pressure, whether you can say no when everyone around you is saying yes. That requires strength, but it still relies on conscious clarity. Level 3 is where almost everyone fails. Automatic character. This level doesn't test you when you're alert. It tests you when you're broken, when you're running on fumes, when you're operating on autopilot, when you don't even have the strength to observe yourself. In that moment, your true nature comes out raw. No masks, no strategy, just essence. Like those hidden camera videos where someone is tested without knowing they're being watched, except here there isn't only no human watching you. You don't even have the energy to watch yourself. You simply respond from the deepest part of who you are. 7 days ago, in a window between evening hours, you were pushed into that exact state. You didn't recognize it as an evaluation because you were too tired to label anything, too exhausted to be conscious of the test. You were just trying to survive your own emotional weather. And yet, in that depleted state, when nobody would have known if you chose differently, when you had every excuse to take the easier road, you kept your integrity. Maybe someone treated you with cruelty and your first impulse wasn't revenge, but silent dignity. Maybe you had the chance to take a shortcut that nobody would notice. And even in desperation, you couldn't do it. Maybe you held information that could have destroyed someone and your instinct was to protect, not expose. The details don't matter. The pattern does. In your most vulnerable moment, your goodness didn't require effort. It happened automatically. And that is the signature. That is the proof. Because the truth organized religion often fails to explain is this: the goal of the spiritual path is not accumulating information about God. The goal is transformation so deep that divine nature becomes your automatic nature. Jesus didn't say, learn about love. He said, love your enemies. He didn't say, study forgiveness. He said, forgive again and again, until it's no longer a decision, but a nature. Real transformation isn't in your head. It's in what you become when you no longer have conscious control to manage an image. When you passed that test 7 days ago, you activated something in the spiritual realm known across ancient traditions. Spiritual graduation. Not a phrase to sound mystical, but a recognized threshold. The moment a soul demonstrates it has completed initiation and can be trusted with authority. And that is why your coronation is scheduled for 3:33 tonight. That timing is not random. It is one of the most powerful windows on the spiritual clock of the universe. In many mystical traditions, certain hours are known as thin places, times when the veil between dimensions becomes lighter. 3 in the morning is often called the hour of spirit, because human mental activity is at its lowest and spiritual activity is at its highest. Between 3 and 4 a.m., most of the world is asleep. The conscious mind is quieter, the collective noise calms down, and in that silence, the unseen can operate with less interference. But 3:33 carries an additional code. The number 3, repeated 3 times, signals completion, alignment, a trinity of closure. You see it as a pattern in sacred histories, not because those stories are superstition, but because cycles leave marks. And tonight, at 3:33, your preparation cycle closes. The universe has an appointment with you. Your body will be sleeping, but your soul will be awake enough to receive what is yours. Now here's what will happen at that hour. You won't have a cinematic dream of a golden throne. Celestial courts don't use human aesthetics. What happens is energetic. The frequency of your field will be elevated temporarily until it resonates with higher spiritual authority. And in that resonance, the graduation protocol is executed. That is what crowned means in real spiritual language. Authorization, not brute power. Brute power is force that can destroy. Authority is power fused with wisdom, power that can be trusted. And authority is only given to those who have proven they will not abuse it. When heaven crowns you tonight, you receive 3 specific authorizations you didn't have before. First, authority over your own energy field. Before, your frequency rose and fell depending on what people did to you, what they said, whether they praised you or rejected you. You were reactive because you were still healing. After the crown, your frequency stabilizes. You become energetically sovereign. External chaos no longer owns your internal state. Second, authority to cleanse or bless spaces through presence alone. Before, your energy might have been neutral, easily influenced by the environment. After the crown, where you enter, the atmosphere shifts. Anxious people calm without knowing why. Conflicts lose heat. Rooms feel lighter, not because you're trying to do anything, but because your crowned field radiates peace as a natural output. Third, authority of discernment. Before, you could be deceived. You could be confused by charisma, by manipulation, by half-truths. After the crown, your intuition sharpens into precision. You sense truth as resonance, lies as distortion. not by analysis, by instant recognition. These authorizations are not magical gifts falling from the sky. They are capacities you forged in suffering. Tonight they become activated, unlocked, available to you consciously. And you need to know something else. You are not the only one. Around the planet there are others scheduled for activation. A sealed remnant in each cycle of transformation. This cycle is critical because humanity is standing at an inflection point, pulled between awakening and collapse, between higher consciousness and returning to darkness. For evolution to happen, there must be a critical mass of people whose frequency is stable under pressure. People who can hold light without becoming arrogant, hold truth without becoming cruel, hold power without becoming corrupt. You are part of that critical mass. Not because you're better, but because you chose the harder path, went through the fire, and came out with character that does not wobble when nobody is watching. Now I need to warn you about what happens after the crown, because if you aren't prepared, it can confuse you. Within 48 hours, people around you will begin to treat you differently. Not because you told them what happened, but because your energy field changed, and they feel it without understanding it. Some will be drawn to you. They'll want to be near you, talk with you, ask for your advice because your crowned frequency feels safe to their nervous system and familiar to their soul. But others, especially those addicted to manipulation, drama, constant negativity, will start feeling uncomfortable around you, not because you attacked them, but because your frequency exposes theirs. And exposure burns, so they'll distance themselves quietly. No dramatic fight, no big betrayal, just sudden excuses, sudden silence, sudden absence. Let them go. That is energetic cleaning. The universe removing what no longer matches your new reality. And here's the beauty. As the wrong people drift away, the right people begin to appear. People who celebrate you, people who aren't threatened by your growth, people who understand your path because they walked their own. Those connections will shape the next chapter of your life. Now let's talk about confirmation, because the crown happens while you sleep. But the effects show up in waking life. Within the next 24 hours, 3 signs will confirm the coronation was executed. First, you will wake with mental clarity you haven't felt in months. Confusion will dissolve. That heavy fog about what to do, where to go, what decision to make will lift. And the answer won't come from logic. It will rise from within with such force it feels undeniable. That is activated spiritual authority. Direct access to inner wisdom without interference from fear. Second, you will feel deep peace about something that used to trigger anxiety. The situation may not even change, but your relationship to it will. You stop feeling victimized. You stop reacting from panic. You respond from center. That is energetic sovereignty. Third, a specific encounter will happen. Someone will contact you or you will cross paths in a way that seems casual, but the timing will feel orchestrated, and that moment, even if small, opens a door. Information you needed, a connection you were seeking, a confirmation you were waiting for. That is what happens when your frequency stabilizes. Synchronicity becomes normal, not rare. And now I'm going to tell you something that changes the emotional weight of everything. That level 3 test you passed 7 days ago was not your first attempt. It was your 10th. You failed the previous 9. Not because you were evil, not because you were hopeless, because you weren't done yet. Level 3 tests repeat until you pass. Different situations, same evaluation. Can you keep integrity when you're exhausted and nobody is watching? 9 times you chose the easy road. You justified it. You rationalized it. Just this once. I'm too tired. Each time the universe recorded it, waited for you to recover, and offered the test again. But 7 days ago, something was different. All the suffering you endured wasn't punishment. It was forging. Every loss, every betrayal, Every night you cried until your chest hurt. Every moment you thought you wouldn't survive. It was tempering your character. And when the test arrived again, the one you used to fail, you didn't force yourself to do right. You simply couldn't do wrong anymore. Your integrity had become automatic. That's when the observers celebrated, because they knew you were finally ready to be crowned without the power destroying you. And understand this: the crown is not a prize. It is a commission. It is the universe saying, you can hold authority without corruption. Now use it to elevate others. Because your suffering was never only about you. It was preparation. A person who has never been broken can speak about pain like theory. But a person who survived a dark valley carries a kind of wisdom you can't fake. That wisdom becomes medicine for others. Not through preaching, not through controlling, through presence, through the calm you carry, through the hope you can hold when everything looks hopeless. That becomes a living demonstration that transformation is real. In the coming months, people will appear who are exactly where you were 3 years ago, exhausted, lost, cracked open, and they will feel pulled toward you without understanding why. You won't need to search for them. The universe will bring them. Because once you finish your initiation, your next level is helping others complete theirs. Not saving the entire world, but becoming a beacon for the ones whose journey matches yours. But there is one danger that can poison everything if you are not conscious: spiritual pride. When you wake tomorrow with clarity, peace, and synchronicity, the ego will whisper, "You're special. You're above them. You've arrived." Crush that voice immediately. Being crowned doesn't make you superior. It makes you responsible for more. Everyone is on a path. Some are beginning. Some are in the middle. Some are close to breakthrough. You simply completed this stage. That makes you useful, not better. If pride enters, if you begin judging people for still struggling with what you overcame, the crown weakens, not instantly, but gradually. The universe does not trust power to those who use it to elevate themselves. It only trusts power to those who use it to elevate others. When you feel judgment rising, remember who you were. Remember your failures. Remember the nights you needed mercy. Then choose compassion. Choose humility. Choose shared humanity. And hear this: the only one who can take your crown is not God, not the devil, not circumstances. It is you. The crown is not an object. It is a frequency you maintain as long as you maintain your integrity. You don't lose it by mistake. You lose it by deliberate betrayal, by calculated compromise, by consciously choosing to violate your principles for gain. And after the crown, if you use authority to manipulate or harm, the consequences are severe because power multiplies impact. That's why the test was so strict. That's why it repeated 10 times. The universe needed proof that even when you are exhausted, even when no one is watching, your automatic nature chooses integrity. That was the guarantee required before crowning you. So tonight, when the graduation is executed at 3:33 and your field is elevated to receive authority, remember what power is for. Use spiritual authority to bless, not control. Use sovereignty to maintain peace, not feed ego. Use discernment to protect, not judge. If you do that, the crown becomes permanent, not temporary, not borrowed, not fragile, but woven into who you are. And now the final truth. You were chosen to be crowned at this point in human history because your journey matches what is coming. Humanity is entering visible turbulence. Systems wobble. Institutions lose credibility. People lose faith in what once felt solid. This is not apocalypse propaganda. It's pattern recognition. And in the middle of chaos, humanity will desperately need living examples of stability, integrity, and hope. People who can walk through fire without turning bitter. People who can suffer without becoming cruel. People who can experience betrayal and still emerge compassionate. You are one of those examples. Not because you have all the answers, but because your life proves a rare truth. You can go through personal hell and come out stronger, wiser, cleaner, more loving. When people sense that in you, when they notice something steady in your presence, something luminous in their darkness, they will want your secret. But your secret won't be a speech. It won't be information. It will be transformation you lived, character you forged, integrity you kept when it would have been easier to compromise. That is what the world needs now. Not more theories, not more beautiful words. Living evidence that real change is possible. And tonight at 3:33, you are being commissioned as part of that evidence. The crown is not the end. It is the beginning. Remember this. Use authority to bless, not dominate. Use discernment to protect, not judge. Use peace to anchor others, not inflate yourself. If you do, this crown becomes permanent. You were chosen not because you are special, but because your journey prepared you for what is coming. Chaos is increasing. Certainty is collapsing. And humanity needs living proof that integrity can survive fire. That is what you represent now. Not words, not beliefs, but embodied truth. If you recognize you passed your level 3 test 7 days ago and you're ready to receive your celestial coronation tonight at 3:33, write 777 in the comments to amplify that frequency of spiritual graduation. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications. Share this video, and before you leave, click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now to discover how your celestial coronation connects with massive activation of chosen ones. Together, we are stronger.